Now, moving on to the last part of this, quite a few people vibe-coded this con and are still creating things on the fly and have announcements. So I would like to start with Rob Lee, who has done some pretty cool work for us, making us more of an online AI-powered, AI-native conference or whatever. So let's start with that. And then we'll go to Dan Hubbard and then to Glenn Thorpe.
All right. Thank you, Gotti. Love the questions. All right, let me get plugged in here. My name is Rob Lee. I'm with the SANS Institute. And I'm going to get the video kicked off, then I'll start. So starting off with the question, going back to what Gotti just said, I developed the SIFT workstation 18 years ago. And in working with AI as little as possible and trying to learn as much as possible over the past 2 to 3 years, it occurred to me about 3 months ago, why haven't I not installed Claude Code on top of the SIFT workstation? Did about 45 minutes to an hour worth of work configuring the Claude MD file and skills. And I essentially went into Claude Code and I said, here's a hard drive, find evil. This is the command, essentially you type into Claude Code once this is configured on top of the instant response toolkit that we developed. And it, of course, kicks off, starts cranking through. Now this is like 16x speed, because what you're about to see is a 14-minute processing time that basically at the end of this, which typically takes an instant responder, and I asked yesterday as a poll, about 3 days to get from initial C drive of an intrusion into a full report. And I'm going to put all these resources online in the general chat so everyone could download them, get access to the report, get access to the SIFT workstation, even the notebook LM I have set up so you could ask basic questions. How do I start? So 14 minutes later, I'm going to go ahead and skip to the end of this just so everyone could see that it definitely took 14 minutes. 14 minutes, 27 seconds. Think about this for 1 second. And I'm going to go in 2x on the report. This is the report. It automatically generated with no other input and comments. Go ahead and click go. Nailing the full intrusion analysis of a single system in a compromise. Now, the reason we need to accelerate to this speed, it does not mean we remove the human investigator from the intrusion analysis. All the artifacts that are in here require that baseline knowledge. But with offensive teams out there able to accelerate from things that took months down to days or minutes, it is now essential that we're able to meet that speed with intrusion analysis. Thank you.
So as mentioned, was not prepared for this at all. But it's fun to wake up to a surprise message for, oh, I'm Glenn Thorpe with Gray Noise. Yeah, so woke up, opened Slack, saw a message from Gotti saying, hey, you want to just jump on stage for a few minutes and show a thing that you made, so that's cool. It's not really a great story except for the side quest that it created. Sunday night, I was getting ready for the conference and kind of like, they shared a G sheet, I'm OCD, I wanted like a personalized agenda, so went to Claude Code, as we all do. And Vibecoded was a pretty cool interface, like your talks, right? You can take some notes. Gives you a customized agenda. You can export it, share it, whatever. So that's not really the fun part, though, because I think we can all do that here by now. What was funny is I made it. I was really excited about it. I shared it with my boss, and I was all proud. And then I started looking at it after I had posted it online. And the LLM had confused some of the talks. And so it caught my surprise when I saw that there was a talk with another speaker here, and the very end of the talk said, and we will display or show how we integrated this into Gray Noise Intelligence. That was news, and I was actually pretty interested with it, but I was like, I don't think that's right. So I went back to the actual Google Sheet. Obviously, it was wrong. I was like, oh man. So went through, got the, just basically re-verified it and shared it and gave it more explicit instructions as we've learned this week. to verify, validate, whatever, share. So then it corrected it. So if you look in the PR for this, it's pretty funny. Also, Wi-Fi is not being super speedy. Anyway, so in the end, 25% of the talk descriptions were correct. 75% were wrong. So it's kind of a funny story for a Vibecoded AI thing, but it worked out in the end. And you'll see on our talk later, the irony will come when we talk about what we're presenting and how my focus of that project was on the validation skill. So, you know, a little humbling, but it's pretty cool.
All right, so yesterday I was trying to find kind of all the comments on social media from the conference, and which is not super easy to do across all the platforms. Is this coming up yet? There we go. And we'll make this a little simpler. So, because it was hard to find, why can't I scroll down? I just Vibecoded up a little thing that scrolls all the comments from all the major social media networks. And you can actually go and give kudos to the presenters and add comments. But the real kind of, I guess, more fascinating thing from a security perspective is I looked up the actual amount of code that it created. This took like 8 minutes, and it was 6,800 lines of code that was created in 8 minutes to do this. I think there was something like 17 different dependencies that were part of it. But because this is a security conference, I also thought, well, wow, what if, oh, by the way, this crawled the website and mimicked the exact website as unprompted. As you can see, it looks a lot like it. But I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to actually see how many people actually registered for next year's event? So you actually can go on and add your password, your credit card, and your details for next year's, which is $7.99, not $179 if you're interested. So you can think about how easy it is to do this across your favorite other site on the internet and make this happen. So that's the demo. It was made with Lovable. I'll put the prompt in the chat notes. And the good thing about Lovable is at the very bottom right, you can actually edit somebody else's Lovable and fork and create your own really easily if you want to do that. So thank you.
My name is Sergej, Sustik. So I wanted to say, first of all, thank you to Gadi and thank you to all of you for being such an incredible community. And I think we have to realize that you are all very special because you have some insights which most of the people out there don't have yet. And the question is just, how do we communicate this in a proper way? Because that's the only thing on how we can bring a positive world into the world out there. And as some of you tried out already playing with a lot of offensive tools. I've did the same a couple of weeks ago. Just built a small all-day lab, and literally I've not touched further any tools for the last 8-10 years. And I was able to find a lot of very interesting stuff, and some of this is already validated. So my question was, how do we really build this as a communication platform? How can we transfer this this message on what's happening out there? And the first thing I did is just to go back and look back on what kind of research was happening in the past around vulnerability disclosure, around vulnerability exploitation, and so on. And just looking back, obviously, at the foundational problem, cybersecurity being an economics problem, looking back at some of the research around patch diff, for instance, right? So what's going to happen if machines are going to be able to reconstruct patches and build exploits automatically within a couple of minutes and not hours or days? My question was, how do we visualize this? And how do we transport as well the call to action on how we can do something against that going forward? So this is a small project which was Vibecoded pretty much over the weekend as well, including some selection of call to actions on what we can do and visualization of one single metric. And the metric is time to exploitation. You want to see it? All right. So, there we go. What's happening with Wi-Fi? We're all talking about AI, but Wi-Fi doesn't work. All right, I can talk through that. So what I did is I just have agents to go out and research all the different trusted data sources like CISA, like some commercial data sources, vulnerability, check, NVD, collect all the information together and try to understand how we can measure time to exploitation. And Safari was faster. Oh my God, look at that. And this is the result, what we've got from that. So just looking back at the data, in 2020, the time to exploitation was more than a year. Just last year, we've crossed months, and now it's just about a day. So how did it change our patching processes? How quickly are we patching today? It's still not changed, like everybody who's working in a big company. There's still a lot of challenges around how you can patch. We're not going to change this in a foundational way. And now just looking at the number of 0 days from this weaponized exploits, you see that more than half of them started to be already 0 days. So they are either exploited before patches being released or the same day. Now, what can happen, without creating too much food, but looking at all the CVEs out there, we see that the rate of the weaponized exploits is pretty constant, around 2%. So if building exploits, finding CVEs is going to be as cheap as we believe, this is going to be dramatically dangerous for the world and for all of us. So what I'd like to just all of you to do is, if you're looking for one single slide to transfer this, to communicate this to your board, to your CISOs, this is what you can use. I'm very glad that a lot of people here are supporting this. We've got Phil, we've got Bruce Schneier, we've got Heather. If you want to leave a comment, please go on the website and leave a comment around this. Thank you very much.